Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mid Speeds live class. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to mute everyone. All right, here we go. Let's start off with the finger dexterity drill. Ready? Grain, sharp, drill. Black shoot, threat. Crime, sport, plum. Spool, prune, slide. Drain, chair, bless. Grow, truck, splint. Skate, cross, cream. Glue, splice, blue. Spur, child, flesh. Pride, frail, cried. Prompt, sled, crack. Slice, frame, spoke. Them, slip, crown. Spoon, crush, choose. Dry, stroll, plate. Chin, through, stuff. Pledge, wine, gloom. Crutch, skirt, stub. Wheeze, pluck, swear. Dress, dredge, wheel. Flung, sky, snug. Plus, stud, draw. Snatch, brawl, slug. Plain, stitch, plug. Skill, club, plead. Globe, tray, glass. Soft, stunt, chop. Trade, spleen, clean. Splash, tribe, sneak. Grant, drift, splurge. Groom, thrash, glint. Shake, gleam, dwell. All right, let's do the she and they drill. Ready? Isn't she kind? They are very sweet. She ran too fast. They open at 10. Why did she do it? They drove to town. She kept old coins. They left the city. She sent the letter. They said she left. Aren't they ready yet? She isn't very happy. What did she write? She said they called. They are just visiting. I know they told us. Where did she go? They formed a club. Did she pay the bill? They made her very angry. She went to a movie. Is she in a mood? They were too hasty. She teased the dog. What did they win? She wanted coffee. They had questions. She raced on Friday. They swam every day. She missed the plane. They went to the bar. She went on vacation. I know what they said. She bought a new car. I think they were late. When did she mail it? They wanted the book. She said they import it. They opened an office. What could they want? When was she present? They watched the races. I know she will succeed. They were to buy stock. She was there yesterday. Hi, Pandora. All right. Let's go ahead and do some names and addresses. Here we go. Yolanda J. Clark, CLARK. Route 4, Box 90, Brandon, Mississippi, 39042. Tammy L. Hatcamp, HATCAMP, 1807 West Summit Place, Chandler, Arizona, 85224. Mary A. Chuck, CHUK, Hoffman Incorporated, Nutley, New Jersey, 07110. Kathy B. Brown, BROWN, Palatine, Illinois, 60067. Alerna M. Colorado, COLORADO, 547 North Meade Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60639. Doris E. Wank, W-A-N-K, Smith Line, Beckman, 200 South Kramer Lane, Brea, California, 92621. Jan J. Griffin, Griffin, Winter Park Chapter, PSI, P.O. Box 45, Winter Park, Florida, 32750. Lori J. Hought, Hought, 7011 Edward Street, Cohen, New York, 12047. Suzanne M. Gutierrez, Gutierrez, Floral Constructors, 3350 Mickelson Drive, Irvine, California, 92730. All right, let's do some initial consonants that start with TW. Here we go. Try not to twist the twine and the twinge. Her arm had a twinge of pain from the twine at 12. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, oh, how lucky you are. Will Rogers twirled ropes and made me twitch and twinge. When a twirler twirls a twirl, it twists. Tornadoes are called twisters. She twisted him around her finger with the twine. He didn't care a twit or a twinge about it. That twitch was caused by pain in the twitter. You can recognize a twitcher with a twinge at 12. It sets me in a twitter like a twirler twirls. There's many a slip twixt cup and lip. Twizzle means to twirl like a twizzle twirler. The cloth was of twill, and I was tween. The twine was twisted twice. The twigs were in a twizzle because of the twirler. 20 words twice given are twins. Twins are not like twin twigs. Twirlers and tornadoes are not made of twill and twisted. Twigs can be twisted like twine in a twister. All right. Oh, Catherine's here too. Hello, Catherine. All right, let's do some legal phrases. Here we go. Record high population, change of policy, status condition and capacity, presence of marriage, professional attitude, intoxicating liquor, dead on arrival, lack of authorization, doctrine of ratification, breach of trust, performed his duties, in the event that, sales tax measure, scathing legal battles, distinguished janitor senator, sound of the warning. Your verdict must be unsafe and dangerous condition, Copy of the indictment. Unless plaintiff proves her injury was sustained. All right. One last drill here before we move on. These are just Tangle Tamers. Here we go. Initial assessment. View-oriented homes. Licensed auctioneer. Bodily injury. Gracious entertaining. Clandestine rendezvous. Questioned credibility. Electrical impulses. Corrective lenses. Correction inevitable. Exceptionally long-standing. Initial assessment. Gracious entertaining. Recreational vehicles. Obsolete guardhouses. Pot scrubber dishwashers. Controversial reauthorization. Future reconciliation. And luxurious oval tubs. All right. Let's do some literary. All right, I'm going to start this at 120 and I'll work my way to 160. Here we go. Now, were the details not yet known to the public? And more importantly, I'm going to throw in there, were they not even yet known to the law enforcement officers who were asking the question? Number 3, the ability of the suspect to resist false suggestions, not to resist suggestions, but to resist false suggestions. We will talk about that when we talk about these March 1st statements. Now, you are going to hear in this case that there was nothing unique about the March 1st interrogation of Nathan Pressey other than it started off as a witness's statement. Remember, on March 1st, Nathan Pressey was still a witness. He was not a suspect at all. He wasn't on the radar screen. All Nathan did at that point, or all the police knew at that point, is that he may have seen some things in a fire of his uncle Tim Lake. And you are going to see that entire March 1st statement given by Nathan Pressey. Now, some of it is going to be difficult to watch for a couple of reasons. Number 1, some of it is really boring, but we are going to show you start to finish the entire admission. I think it is going to be about 4 hours long. So as you think about what will happen later in this week, just prepare yourselves that you are going to have 4 hours of sitting and watching, and a lot of the time it may not be very interesting. It's a lot of information that will be coming your way. Now, let me also warn you, because it's fair for me to do this, that some of the details may be disturbing to you. They are statements made by a young man who involved himself in some very, very serious behavior. He made some very serious choices, and you are going to hear how he made those choices and the kinds of things that he and his uncle did to this 25-year-old girl. All right? Now we have to give you all of those details too. We have to play the entire statement for you. You are the jury in this case. You have to determine whether or not this makes sense. The degree of details that Nathan gives, the words that Nathan uses, whether or not they ought to be believed. That is your job. Your job at the end of this case will decide whether that statement should be believed. I am going to briefly go through what Nathan Pressey said on March 1st. The version, Nathan's version of what happened to Lindsay Masters. Nathan Pressey, and again, sometimes in graphic detail, will talk about approaching his Uncle Tim's trailer. And before he even knocks on the door, he hears the screaming. He hears screaming from inside of the trailer, and he then knocks on the door. Now remember what I told you before about Nathan's statements, and should they be believed, and the things such as he actually was there, and did he help in this crime. Now you must also remember that at the end of my opening statements, we are going to talk about some choices and the evidence of some choices that Nathan makes. The choice to knock on the door, even though you hear screaming from a young woman inside, is the first choice that Nathan makes. You are going to hear that Tim Lake answers the door. You are going to hear that he's sweaty and that he tells Nathan Pressey that he has raped this woman and that he has her in the back of his bedroom. Now, these are difficult, hard images to kind of wrap your mind around, but this is the version that Nathan Pressey gave on the 31st of October. Nathan actually sees Lindsay tied up. He sees her shackled with handcuffs and leg irons to the back bed that is located in the back bedroom. And here, when we talk about decisions, Mr. Pressey himself asks Nathan if he wants to have sex with the woman that's been restrained in the bedroom now. Now, some of the language is very graphic. They don't use the words, "Do you want to have sex?" All right? They use some very, very crude, degrading language towards any woman, but certainly towards a young woman who is in this trailer already. When we talk about those decisions that Nathan gets to make at this point, Nathan says, yes, I want to do that. It was his choice. He had a choice. He could have walked away. He could have called for help. Even though he's a young man, he had a choice. You are going to hear that Nathan Pressey rapes Lindsay Masters. You will hear when he walks into the bedroom while Lindsay is restrained on the bed and by force and by violence and with the use and threat of a weapon. He has sexual intercourse with this woman without her consent. You are going to hear a lot more details that I am not going to share with you at this time about that particular moment and about that particular event. I want you to listen to that young man's description of what Lindsay Master says to him as he's doing that to her. After the rape, Tim Lake praises his nephew and says, "That is how you do it." These are explanations again from Nathan. The repulsive expression, lack of empathy, lack of any kind of moral fiber, any kind of moral compass at all, for an uncle to tell his nephew, "That's how you do it." Then Tim and Nathan discuss if they should and how they should kill Lindsay Master. And again, there is the decision tree. What does Nathan decide to do? Tim says, "Will you help me?" Nathan says yes. You will hear testimony about Tim and Nathan going into the bedroom. Tim Lake stabs the victim. Nathan Pressey actually handed the knife to his Uncle Tim, and he cuts Lindsay Master's throat. His Uncle Tim is the one who cuts her throat. Terrible. Gosh. So I was telling Pandora this morning, Catherine, that there's an actual documentary story on Netflix about this case. It's called The Making of a Murder. And this guy that was found guilty of all this, you know, he's trying to say that he was framed and that he never did any of that. But gosh, they have so much evidence. It's just hard to believe that, you know, he tries to say that he got in trouble years earlier and got away with it. So now they're trying to frame him for this, and because it made the police look bad. And I don't know, pretty interesting. So, okay, let's do some jury. This is actual jury charge, okay? I'm going to read this. I'll start at 120, but I'm going to work my way to 160. Okay, it's not very long. Here we go. Members of the jury, as stated earlier, it is your duty to determine the facts, and in so doing, you must consider only the evidence I have admitted in the case. The term evidence includes the sworn testimony of the witnesses and the exhibits admitted in the record. Remember that any statements, objections, or arguments made by the lawyers are not evidence in the case. The function of the lawyers is to point out those things that are most significant or most helpful to their side of the case, and in so doing, to call your attention to certain facts or inferences that might otherwise escape your notice. In the final analysis, however, it is your recollection and interpretation of the evidence that controls in the case. What the lawyers say is not binding upon you. So while you should consider only the evidence in the case, you are permitted to draw such reasonable inferences from the testimony and exhibits as you feel are justified in light of common experience. In other words, you may make deductions and reach the conclusions which reason and common sense lead you to draw from the facts which have been established by the testimony and evidence in the case. All right. Got one more here, legal opinion. We won't get through all of this. We'll finish this tomorrow. The plaintiff sought damages in 2 counts from defendant Community Hospital for injuries allegedly sustained when she slipped and fell in the hospital lobby after being discharged as a patient from the hospital. After the jury failed to reach a verdict on count 2, the trial court entered a directed verdict for defendant and then entered judgment on the verdict. Plaintiff appeals from that judgment, contending that as to count 2, she presented sufficient evidence to withstand a motion for a directed verdict. Count 1 of the complaint alleged premises liability. The trial court directed a verdict in favor of the defendant as to count 1 at the close of all the evidence, and plaintiff does not appeal from that judgment. Count 2 alleged negligence, that defendant breached the standard of accepted care in the manner of discharging plaintiff, and that plaintiff's acts or omissions proximately caused plaintiff's fall and injuries. Prior to trial, pursuant to Supreme Court Rule 220, defendant served plaintiff interrogatories regarding any experts from whom plaintiff might call. Plaintiff did not respond to the interrogatories. When the trial began, the plaintiff stated that she had no expert witnesses. At the trial, plaintiff testified that on June 4, 2011, she was discharged from the hospital following an operation which had been performed 9 days earlier. That morning, plaintiff had taken pain medication prescribed by Dr. Kelly. Plaintiff received no information about discharge procedures. From her room, plaintiff signaled the nurse that she was dressed and ready to leave. The nurse told her to come to the nurse's station, which plaintiff did, carrying her things. Plaintiff testified that she inched her way toward the nurse's station, slipping and sliding due to her pain. Her difficulty would be obvious to anyone observing her, as it took approximately 20 minutes to get down the hallway. The attending nurse then told plaintiff that she should just leave. In the elevator, plaintiff felt sweaty, dizzy, and nauseous. As she walked toward the hospital entrance, plaintiff slipped and fell. Plaintiff testified that the floor was slick and a carpet buckled where it was taped down, but she was not sure what caused her to fall. She was subsequently admitted to a different hospital for alleged injuries to her back and legs. Plaintiff then tendered Dr. John Kelly, her treating physician, as her intended expert on standard of care questions. Defendant objected because of plaintiff's failure to identify Dr. Kelly as an expert pursuant to Supreme Court Rule 220. The court ruled that Dr. Kelly's testimony would be limited to questions concerning his actual care and treatment of plaintiff. Dr. Kelly testified that plaintiff had a normal recovery from surgery and that he considered her progress in walking to be normal. He saw plaintiff prior to discharge and found she had no problem walking. Plaintiff was given no medication on the day of her discharge, although she did receive a pain pill. The medications which plaintiff received on the previous day would not affect her ability to walk or her sensory abilities the following day. We'll stop there. It sounds like negligence on the hospital's part for not wheeling her out. I think that's a law. Okay. We'll finish that tomorrow. Okay. Do some Q&A. And looks like defense Vince is questioning. We're going to start at 120. We'll work our way to 160, okay? Here we go. When it hit the divider, did it spin or rotate after hitting the divider? Yes, both. Can you tell me if it turned clockwise or counterclockwise? I don't know. Do you know what clockwise is? Yes, but I don't remember which way because did the car spin to your right or to your left? I can't recall. But you're certain that it turned around at least 4 times. Is that correct? Yes. Did you count them as it went around? It felt like it was never going to stop. I felt like I was on a ride. When it did stop, where was the vehicle located? It was like in the emergency lane, and that was to the left of the number 1 lane. Is that correct? Right. Correct? Correct. We want to be real careful about using right. Now, which direction was it facing? It was facing eastbound. During the time between the first impact and the time that your car first came to rest, was anything said between you and Iris? I can't recall. What, if anything, did you do when the car first came to rest? I looked at her. That's when I went unconscious. Other than your head striking the window, the one time that you've already described, did your head hit anything else in the vehicle? I don't know. Did you or Iris have anything of an alcoholic nature to drink that evening before? No. The date or the accident? How many kind of medications were you on? Well, from my point, my side, were you on any kind of medication? No. How about her? Do you know? I don't know. How about any controlled substance? No. No joints before you hit the road or nothing? No. What was your last memory before you fell unconscious? Do you have a visual picture of what you saw? The last thing I remember was just seeing us turn. Just the last thing I remember was seeing her, and that's it. But had you come to a stop at that point? No, that's when we had barely turned our last time and hit the last time. That's when I saw her, and I clunked out. Do you know how many times you hit the divider? Twice. After going unconscious, do you have your first memory? Can you visualize that now as we speak? I don't understand that. What was the first thing you saw after you were unconscious? I was at the hospital. Where were you? At Loma Linda University. Do you have any memory between the time that you were at the scene of the accident in the hospital, or in the vehicle until the time you were in the hospital? No, I don't. As a result of this accident, did you have at any time any symptom of pain or discomfort? No. You've indicated that you bumped your head. Did that hurt you at the time that you bumped your head on the window? Did it hurt? Yes. Yes. That's a symptom of pain. Okay, I'm sorry. And after feeling that sensation, did you have any other sensations of pain or discomfort at any time during the accident? At any time after the impact? After the impact, when I was at the hospital, yes. What did you first sense? I had like shoulder pain. What shoulder? It was both shoulders, and I had really bad neck pain from the seat belt. Do you know that it was the seat belt that caused your neck pain? Did you have any cuts, abrasions, burns, or anything like that? Yes. What did you have? I had like a burn from the seat belt. It was probably like 4 inches long, like that big. What side of your neck was it? On the right side? Other than your shoulders? Well, let's go back to the shoulders. What did they feel like when you were at the hospital? Like someone was cramming them. It was a really bad pain. If we can put a scale on it of 1 to 10, 10 being so painful that you're going to be unconscious, and 1 being just probably an 8. Other than your shoulders and your neck, did anything else hurt? My back. When did you first notice your back hurt? When I barely woke up. When you first woke up, where were you? I was in the emergency room. Were you confined in any way when you first woke up? I don't understand that. Were you in a bed? Were you on a stretcher? Yes. Were you strapped into a wheelchair? No, I was in a bed. Did you stay overnight in the hospital? Yes. When did you leave? The next day. About what time? I don't remember. Other than your shoulders, your neck, and your back, did you have any other symptom of pain or discomfort while you were in the hospital? My left foot. Tell me about your left foot. It was like a really sharp pain in my left foot. When did you first notice that? At the same time when I woke up. Did you suffer any cuts or abrasions to your left foot? Yes, I had a deep cut and a big bruise. Do you know if it came in contact with anything inside the car? It hit something, but I don't know. When they released you from the hospital, did they give you any instructions? I don't recall. Did they tell you what was wrong with you, if anything? I don't know. They talked to my brother. I'm not sure what they told him. Other than looking at you and touching you and all that sort of thing, did they do anything else for you? No. Give you any medication? Yes. Did they give you something to take with you? Just pain medicine. Do you know what it was? No, I don't. After leaving the hospital, did you go to another healthcare provider? That's when, no. Right after, no. At any time. Yes, to a chiropractor. When? A day or 2 after. Who did you go see? Stone Chiropractor. Where are they located? In the city of Fontana. Have you ever been there before? No. Anybody else in your family been there before? No. How did you find out about them? I contacted my lawyer. When you first went to Stone Chiropractor, did you see Stone? Yes. And what, if anything, happened at the first visit? Well, they did a complete examination. Had you ever been examined by a chiropractor before? Yes. When did that happen? Just for my regular physical for sports. What I'm trying to determine is how you know this was complete. Would you know if anything was left out? Because that's what I've gotten one of those before, like to get a permit to play sports. What sports did you play in high school? Soccer? Anything else? And basketball. Do you know if they took any x-rays of you at the hospital? At the hospital, yes, they did. What part of your body? Everything. How about the chiropractor? Did he take x-rays too? Yes. Same parts of your body? I don't recall the whole body, but yes, he took x-rays. On the first visit to the chiropractor, did you have any symptoms of pain or discomfort? Yes. Where did you hurt? Everywhere. The neck, the shoulders, my back, and it was my foot. Did you start on a regimen of treatment with the chiropractor? Yes. How often did you go when you first started? Every day of the week? And did that frequency change at any time? Yes, it was like 2 months later. So you went every day for 2 months? Yes. Did that include Saturdays and Sundays? No, not Saturdays and Sundays. That was straight for a 2-week period for 2 months? Yes. Can you tell me if the treatment was the same each time you visited? Pretty much so, yes. What did they do? They would lay me down on the bed and put electric shocks on my back with the heating pad, and they would like crack my bones or stretch me. Excuse me? Crack my bones and stretch me. Sounds funny. Did you actually hear things crack? Yes. Where did you hear? Not towards the beginning, no. They started real light because I was like in real bad pain. They started cracking my bones like 3 months into it. In the first 2-month period, they put you on the table every time you visited? Yes. Did this table vibrate or move at all? No. Did they put electrodes on you? Yes. And give you a little pulse there? Yes. They did that every time you visited? Yes. Did they do anything else every time you visited? And the heating pads? Anything else? Well, they would like stretch me out, but they wouldn't crack my bones. Did they massage you? No. Did they do what they call ultrasound? No. They never told you that they were going to do ultrasound? No, I don't remember. So it's fair to say then each time you visited, you got the electric stimulation, the heat pad, and a stretching? Right. Anything else they did at any time in the first 2-month period? No. Did you feel at any point in time in this treatment that it was doing you any good? Yes. When did you first notice that? When my pain started going away. How soon after starting the treatment did you notice that? Probably like into my 3rd month. All right, now I have a medical Q&A I'm going to give you guys. All right. Oh, hi, Olivia. Olivia's here too. Okay, this isn't very long, but it's good. All right. And let's see who's questioning. Looks like plaintiff. Yeah, plaintiff. All right, here we go. I'm going to start at 120, but I'll work my way to at least to 140. Okay. All right, here we go. Doctor, for the benefit of those of us who are not familiar with medical terminology, I would like you to tell us something about human anatomy. With what part of the human body would you commence the study of anatomy with the skeleton, because it is the framework around and within which all else in the body is built? Might the skeleton be compared to the steel frame of a building? Yes, but it is much more complicated. The frame of a building, once erected, may be forgotten because it is quite unlikely that changes will be made once the beams and columns have been covered and the structure completed. The framework of the body must grow in length and in diameter to accommodate itself to the increasing size of the individual from birth until the adult stage is reached. It must be kept alive and nourished, and when attacked by disease or damaged by injury, repairs must be made. It is therefore a living framework. Of what is the skeleton composed of? It is made of what we call bone, which has two parts, namely the organic or living portion and the inorganic or non-living portion. What we commonly call the marrow is composed of living cells. By their growth and multiplication, they cause the bone to grow in size. They also extract certain salts from the blood, which they form into a compact surrounding layer, building up the hard part of the bone. Is the outer surface of bone in direct contact with the muscles and other soft tissues of the body? No, it is covered by a membrane, the periosteum, which supplies the nourishment to the outer compact layer of the bone. How does the growth take place? In two directions, circumferentially and longitudinally. Circumferential growth is effected simply by the multiplication of the bone cells and the deposits around them of inorganic salts. Growth in length is effected at the ends of the long bones by the activity of a layer of cartilage interposed between the long sections, which is known as the shaft, and the extremities, called the epiphysis. This cartilage is known as the epiphyseal cartilage. It is also along the ends of the bone that are moving away from each other and building up in the shaft between them. You say that it is the method of growth of the long bones. How do the bones of the skull actually grow? The skull of the bones have no epiphyseal cartilage, but are formed instead from a fibrous membrane in which the bone cells appear and grow centrifugally as to form a gradually enlarging plate of bone. By the time the adult stage is reached and growth of the bone or long bones of the body has ceased, the fibrous membranes have been supplanted entirely by bone. Can you name the various divisions of the skeleton? Well, the skull, the spinal column, the limbs, the shoulder girdle, the thorax, and the pelvic girdle. All right, so we'll stop there. There's more, so I will do more of this in the next class that we have. Let me just date this. Okay. All right. How are we doing on time? All right, let's do some read back. Again, I'm going to read one. I'll read the first one at 160, then 140, and then 120, okay? This is plaintiff. Okay. All right, here we go. When did you first notice that there was any work going on down along Vincent Drive? Oh, a few days prior to the occurrence. How did that come to your attention? We saw them. You mean you and your wife? Yes. Were you driving along Vincent at that time? No, we saw them from our front window. Were you aware before you saw them that there was going to be some construction in the area? Just hearsay. And you became aware that the sewer line was going to be placed along the road, did you not? Yes. Approximately when did you first become aware of that? It would be a matter of a few weeks, I would judge. I don't recall specifically. Did you make any effort to ascertain the nature of the work that was going to be done? No, I did not. Did you make any effort to ascertain the manner in which the work was going to be done? No. Did you have any objection to the work being done? None at all. Now you say you were home on the day when this first happened. Is that correct? Right. Were you able to observe what was going on down there, basically from where you were? Not directly in front of our house. At the time you first noticed the cracks, do you know whether the pipe had been laid in the trench? I believe the pipe at that point had been laid. Do you know when the trench along the front of your property and adjacent to the roadway was dug? It was dug that day. All right, so let's do that again. Let's do it again at 140. Here we go. When did you first notice that there was any work going on down along Vincent Drive? Oh, a few days prior to the occurrence. How did that come to your attention? We saw them. You mean you and your wife? Yes. Were you driving along Vincent at that time? No, we saw them from our front window. Were you aware before you saw them that there was going to be some construction in the area? Just hearsay. And you became aware that the sewer line was going to be placed along the road, did you not? Yes. Approximately when did you first become aware of that? It would be a matter of a few weeks, I would judge. I don't recall specifically. Did you make any effort to ascertain the nature of the work that was going to be done? No, I did not. Did you make any effort to ascertain the manner in which the work was going to be done? No. Did you have any objection to the work being done? None at all. Now you say you were home on the day when this first happened. Is that correct? Right. Were you able to observe what was going on down there, basically from where you were? Not directly in front of our house. At the time you first noticed the cracks, do you know whether the pipe had been laid in the trench? I believe the pipe at that point had been laid. Do you know when the trench along the front of your property and adjacent to the roadway was dug? It was dug that day. All right. Let's do it one more time at 120. Here we go. Ready? When did you first notice that there was any work going on down along Vincent Drive? Oh, a few days prior to the occurrence. How did that come to your attention? We saw them. You mean you and your wife? Yes. Were you driving along Vincent at that time? No, we saw them from our front window. Were you aware before you saw them that there was going to be some construction in the area? Just hearsay. And you became aware that the sewer line was going to be placed along the road, did you not? Yes. Approximately when did you first become aware of that? It would be a matter of a few weeks, I would judge. I don't recall specifically. Did you make any effort to ascertain the nature of the work that was going to be done? No, I did not. Did you make any effort to ascertain the manner in which the work was going to be done? No. Did you have any objection to the work being done? None at all. Now you say you were home on the day when this first happened. Is that correct? Right. Were you able to observe what was going on down there, basically from where you were? Not directly in front of our house. At the time you first noticed the cracks, do you know whether the pipe had been laid in the trench? I believe the pipe at that point had been laid. Do you know when the trench along the front of your property and adjacent to the roadway was dug? It was dug that day. Right. How are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Did you find that website, that brief, you did, was it,
Yes.
that, what was it, Briefopedia? That's what it was.
Yes, briefpedia.com.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even look, but I got it right here on my little,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Did you look, Catherine?
Not on Briefpedia. I went on the Brief Exchange on Facebook.
Okay.
And what was it that we were
Which is
looking
a
at?
good group.
Rehabilitation, was it? I think, was it?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was it.
Okay.
Yep. Hold on a second. I'm going to see real quick. Let me look. Briefpedia. Oh, yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to put this in my favorites. Okay, search. Rehabilitation. Okay, let's see what it. Okay, these are the choices. Whoa, there's a lot.
I know there were a lot. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some of the. So one of them that's pretty cool I like is RAB, RAB. Or what about this one? Initial R, final GS for the shun.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Or RAGS.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Do you have one, Olivia, that you like, that you saw in here?
No, no, I didn't. Because there were so many, you know what I mean? And I never really, I'm thinking when she said it, I'm like, I usually write it, I don't rehab, it's 3 strokes. So
Yeah,
it's definitely worth looking into, to find a brief.
definitely.
Yeah.
I know there's one here that says you can write it as RAEBGSZ. That's crazy.
Whoa. Yeah.
I think that website, because I've looked at that website in the past, and I mean, you can add any suggestion. It's like user generated.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like it's like every brief that everybody does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You're going to get everything.
you're going to get everything out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The brief exchange on Facebook is cool because you kind of people like will like certain ones, and so you can kind of tell what's popular among more people.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool.
I think out of all these, I like the RAGS because you hear the, you know, the final shun is the GS, RA shun.
Is it long A? Because ration is a word.
That's true.
Not that that comes up a whole lot, maybe.
No, but that makes sense though. I wonder why they don't have RE shun.
See, I hear the long E. I don't know why. Like the re. I almost kind of want to do like reeb, and then for like rehabilitate, and then add the shun for rehabilitation. And then I could just do rab for rehab if I wanted.
Yeah, because they do have rab here, but to me, I would do rehab as rab, you know? And then they also have reb, R-E-B, and then R final GS, no vowel, just, R final GS. You could do rehab as rab, and then rehabilitation is R final GS. So there's definitely, thank you though. I'm going to put this in my favorites on my phone. This is awesome.
Yeah, then I was looking at the brief encounters for rehabilitation. They have it as RABLGS.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And for rehabilitate, it's RABLT.
T, like as in Tom?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
RABLT for rehabilitate. And
oh, I like that.
yeah, RABLT, yeah. And then for the rehabilitation, is the RABLGS.
Oh, okay. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And then with the rehabilitating, you would go RABLG.
Oh, yeah.
RABLG. Yeah. Kind of, you know how they do it in the family thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Well, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Remember I told you my aunt, who's a court reporter, Olivia, because you probably don't know.
Okay.
I asked her about it, and she said she took out one of the syllables and just did like rehabilitate or something.
Oh.
But I scoped for her, and it came up like after I talked to her about it, and she wrote it all the way out, so she doesn't even know what she does. It was 4 strokes. I'm like, no, you don't take out any sounds. It was the whole thing.
Well, maybe it was slow for her that day. So maybe
yeah.
See, it's all in how fast the dictation is. If you have time, write it out. If not,
right.
What is that thing that you always see on Facebook? Stay calm or keep calm and make up a brief. Oh, that's so true, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, we can each take a Q&A if you want, but if you want to read back, just let me know.
Okay, I got to kind of find. Okay.
Okay, yep. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. I'll take the first one and then we'll, go from there. So question, when did you first notice that there was any work going on down along Vincent Drive? Answer, a few days prior to the occurrence.
Okay.
Question. Oh, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
How did that come to your attention? Answer, we saw them.
Question, you mean you and your wife? Answer, yes.
Question, were you driving along Vincent at that time? Answer, no. We saw them from our front window.
Question, were you aware before you saw them that there was going to be some construction in the area? Answer, just hearsay.
Question, and did you become aware that the sewer line was going to be placed along the road. What is that? Along the road. Did you not? That's what I had.
In the beginning of that, do you have and you became aware?
I have, and did you become?
What do you, because I might have said that. What do you have, Catherine?
In the first take, it's and you became aware. So that's
Okay.
the 160.
Okay, so I added a word in there.
That's okay.
Okay, along the road, did you not? Answer, yes.
Awesome. Question, approximately when did you first become aware of that? Answer, it would be a matter of a few weeks, I would judge. I don't recall specifically. Specifically, do you guys do SPFL?
Nope, under the 3 strokes.
Oh gosh. Okay. So let me just tell you, that's one of my favorite. So specifically, I do SPEFL. Obviously, I do OFL. And then
OFL for obviously?
yes.
Okay. And for specifically, what was that again?
SPEFL.
Oh, okay.
And then if they just say specific, I write down SPEFK.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that one because I hated writing that out.
Yeah, it's 3 strokes. It's 3 strokes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that'll save you. Unfortunately, is U, F, or L?
Yeah, I do that one, yeah.
Okay.
I needed that one. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those save your life.
All right. Question, did you make any effort to ascertain the nature of the work that was going to be done? Answer, no, I did not.
Question, did you make any effort to ascertain the manner in which the work was going to be done? Answer, no.
Question, did you have any objection to the work being done? Answer, none at all.
Question, now you say you were home on the day when this first happened. Is that correct? Answer, right.
Question, were you able to observe what was going on down there basically from where you were? Answer, not directly in front of our house.
Question, at the time you first noticed the cracks, do you know whether the pipe had been laid in the trench? Answer, I believe the pipe at that point had been laid.
Question, do you know when the trench along the front of your property and adjacent to the roadway was dug? Answer, it was dug that day.
Awesome job. All right. Well, hopefully, so this week I was summoned to serve jury duty, but I'm on standby. So like I had to call Sunday night. They said call Monday. I called yesterday. They said call again. So now tonight I have to call again. I'm hoping that I don't have it. So far I haven't. So
All right. See, I always wanted to be called because I work in Los Angeles and I live in the Inland Empire. So for me not to have to go to work, I would just love it. And whenever I get called, these people were so angry at me because I was all excited, like, yes, I don't have to go to work. I'm about 20 minutes from home. I was just a happy camper. I'm in there and we get called for the case. I'm like, yes, okay, we go to lunch and I come back, happy camper. The case has been settled. I'm like, oh no, why? And people are like happy and everything. Because I always wanted that experience. I never had it because it's just amazing to me to see how people think. You know what I mean?
yes.
We're all here and we see the same thing. But my main reason is to get off work. I work in Los Angeles. That commute, that's why I was coming in from the day. I said, I hope I can get home in time, get on the bus and then yada yada. But I made it for at least 20 minutes, so I'm happy. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Wow. So you do have a long commute. So you take
I used to do the Metrolink, but it became overly expensive and I couldn't take the claustrophobia being on that train that long. So I started taking the Foothill Transit. So I go to Montclair Plaza Park and get on the bus. So
Wow.
The biggest problem with the bus is, of course, the traffic. But it's much faster, if you have more buses. But it's just traffic. Traffic is just crazy here. It's just crazy. And more
Crazy.
people. The 210 freeway, the 10 freeway. Oh my gosh, nightmare. So yeah.
I know it is. I know my dad works he widens freeways, and he said they'll never be able to catch up. By the time they widen the freeway, it's already outdated.
It's already out, it's really crazy, the traffic. I mean, the 210 was nice. It's a joke when you see the carpool lane because, so, yeah.
It's just as backed up as everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see people paying this money for that, and you see it's like, okay, it's just crazy, traffic, the whole bit. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that sounds like my daughter. She served on a jury last week. And
Okay.
she's a school teacher, and she was excited to get to, because she still gets paid,
Oh, yeah. See, Metro, we still get paid too, and that's why they usually, so they pay us, but they won't pick me. So
that's what my daughter said. She was so excited to get to serve, and she said these other people were so mad because they were trying to get off, and nobody let them off. She said this one lady threw her purse down. She was really mad.
That's funny.
And then, of course, when you want to serve, then you don't get picked.
Fortunately, what was that brief again? Fortunately?
Oh, unfortunately?
Either fortunately is what? It's FORL?
Unfortunately, it's UFRL. Obviously, OFL.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Specifically, SPEFL.
I got that one, yeah.
Okay. Fortunately, I guess you could do FORL.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You would think that I would do that one too if I'm going to do unfortunately UFRL.
Yeah.
You could add initial NFRL.
Okay.
If you wanted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
I know.
It's kind of like Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obvious, I just do OF, OV, and then obviously OFL. I know, I love those.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I should do that. I mean, if I'm going to do unfortunately.
Yeah. So you write it out? You write out fortunately?
Yeah. And now I'm like, why do I do that? If I don't write out specifically or unfortunately or obviously, so I shouldn't do fortunately.
Right, exactly.
Holy cow. Yeah, I'm picking that one up. All right, well,
all right.
Great night, and thank you for coming in as long as you can. And
thank you.
Thank you, and I'll see you guys soon.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 I do my best.